So you've made the decision to start going to the gym, possibly for the very first time, or maybe you're someone who's just trying to get back into it. And so today, we're going to be going over 5 tips that I wish I knew when I started working out. These 5 tips are going to ensure that you're not wasting your money, not wasting your time, not hurting yourself, and most importantly, staying consistent. So tip number 1, which may come as a surprise to many of you, is to not go as hard as you possibly can in your first week, but instead slowly build yourself up. Of course, I understand if you're someone who's brand new to the gym, there's a chance that you're very excited and you just want to start working out as much as possible. What happens is many people push themselves way too hard to the point of becoming incredibly sore, sometimes even in the first day. And because of this, people get it in their head that the idea of trying to stay consistent in the gym is going to be impossible. And so what happens is you end up taking 5 or 6 days off, and next thing you know, you're no longer going to the gym. And so what I recommend is to put the ego aside and try to lift as light and as smoothly as possible. You want to try and get your body comfortable doing the exercises and building up a tolerance. And I will say for myself, as someone who's been working out for around 17 years, if I ever find myself in a place where I've taken a couple of weeks off, I will always start slow when I'm trying to get back into it. And on top of making yourself too sore to work out consistently, the last thing that you want to have happen is injuring yourself. And so you have to put your ego aside and get your body used to the movements. I promise you that if you take your time in that first week and build your tolerance, you're going to be able to work out much more consistently and find yourself much less sore. So now that we have the mindset to lay the groundwork for our first week at the gym, tip number 2 is to stick to machines before moving to free weights. The reason for this is if you are someone who is absolutely brand new to the gym, the last thing you want to do is hurt yourself with bad form on free weights. So first, to build up some coordination in the movement patterns and also some strength, I highly recommend sticking to machines. I fully understand that people don't want to embarrass themselves when they are brand new and just learning how to work out. So by sticking to machines, you can continue to build your strength while educating yourself on free weights to avoid any sort of confusion in the future. Also, as an absolute beginner, doing compound movements such as deadlifting, squatting, or bench pressing can be extremely dangerous. It might feel silly, but once you graduate from machines to free weights, I highly recommend going incredibly light, and with the compound movements, even just using the bar. And you'll notice that when using free weights for the very first time, having zero stabilization is very weird. And so I recommend asking somebody for help or having somebody spot you when you're trying it for the very first time. Tip number 3, and in my opinion, this might be the one that changes your life the most. I know so many people that get incredibly fixated on supplements. Which ones should I buy? Which ones are the best? Should I be taking these supplements with these supplements? What about timing? There's so many things to worry about and so many things to research. And you can very easily overwhelm yourself and waste hundreds of dollars on things that you really don't need. And so I'm going to try and keep it incredibly simple for you guys. There are only 2 supplements that you should be trying out as an absolute beginner. So supplement number 1 is going to be protein powder. And this is going to be for anyone who's trying to put on a little bit of size. There are 2 different types of protein. There's whey protein, which is dairy-based, and then vegetable protein, which is vegetable-based. This is important to know because before you go ahead and start spending money on protein, you should check to see what's in it to ensure that you don't have any allergies to any of the ingredients. And the second supplement is going to be creatine, typically in the form of pre-workout. One of the main functions of creatine is to supply your muscles with water to help with soreness and recovery. A lot of people like to get their creatine with their pre-workout, but it's also important to know that there is such a thing as stimulant-free pre-workout. So if you're someone who is sensitive to caffeine or beta-alanine, then I highly recommend going for the stimulant-free option. So if you're someone who knows that they have allergies, make sure to ask a healthcare professional first before going ahead and taking supplements. So tip number 4 is going to be start drinking more water. This sounds like an obvious one, but you'd be surprised in the difference it will make for your workouts and your overall mood. One thing that I like to do to make sure that I hit my water intake for the day is set timers on my phone to remind me. It's recommended that you drink 8 glasses of water in a day, and I'll admit that feels like a lot of water. One thing you can do to try and help yourself reach that goal is that every time you reach for a drink, substitute that with water. And another thing that will make this a lot easier on you is trying to ease this into your routine. If you're someone who relies very heavily on energy drinks or coffee throughout your day, cutting it cold turkey is going to make you feel miserable. So what I recommend is to drink water on top of your daily intake of whatever it is that you normally drink, and then slowly phase those things out. And finally, tip number 5. And this is where most people give up on fitness as a whole, and that is when they become overly fixated on having the perfect diet. Of course, when we are brand new to the gym, the number one thing that we want to ensure is that we are not wasting our workouts. And so what happens is a lot of time, people will start to work out extremely hardcore, but also become very, very strict with their diet. And this is a recipe for disaster, especially if you do not have these habits ingrained in you for a long period of time. So as a beginner, it's completely okay to slowly ease in those healthier options into your diet. I've seen way too many people do this, including myself, where I've tried to cut out all bread, all dairy, all sugar, and all salt. And this is a nightmare to do. And then ultimately, you find yourself having salad with no dressing or chicken with no seasoning, and then you become incredibly sluggish on top of feeling sore. Not only do you feel incredibly sore, it hurts to walk, you're tired, but also now you have no energy. Combine all of that on top of also feeling like a failure if you happen to have one cheat meal. This is truly a recipe for disaster. And so I'm going to sit here and say it's okay to enjoy life and enjoy food. Of course, you want to try and be health conscious where you can, but do not go cold turkey on your diet. And for those of you that are interested and looking for some motivation, I'm going to be doing a 100-day cutting challenge for myself over the summer. I'm going to be posting a before and after, as well as a ton of content around the journey, so be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss it. Hopefully I was able to get you guys set off on the right foot with all this information, and once again, thanks for watching.